ballistic solution app on my...
Tuna grounds are on the ocean, Tommy.
We're going to do that. Don't go anywhere.
We've got all the great fish that make great fish and chips.
Hey, good evening and welcome to Fish Hunt Northwest, Duane, England. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is...
I am back.
Thomas Donlan. Back in studio, buddy.
I know.
Looking good.
God, that was quite the vacation.
Yeah, you took some time. Some of us, we had to go at it alone, but hey, we survived. We survived, but it's nice to have you back. We got way too much going on for me to just, hammer all this out this evening by myself.
Sure.
So nice to have Tommy back on board. The band's back together. We got a heck of a show lined up this evening. Going to be bouncing around a lot, catching you all up on a lot of things that we've had going on, stuff Tommy's been out doing, some things we actually shot earlier. Gosh, I don't know, several weeks past, but still relevant, still current, right? Still current with what's going on in some of our waters. When you run down a list of topics indoor fisheries that we will probably cover tonight, I mean, we're talking Chinook, Coho, Sturgeon, Tuna, crab, Clamming. We got Halibut dates.
That's right, September 24th.
Halibut dates.
Yeah, Marine Area 1 and 2.
More sturgeon retention, as I had just kind of alluded to. It's all over the place. We have a ton of fishing opportunity, lucrative limits with these coho upriver and areas opening that I haven't heard of opening in years. So you guys are going to want to stick around because there is a whole lot going on that we need to catch you up on, and in the realm of fishing and some other things happening. But before we get too far along, as always, Tommy, I want to remind everybody, Fish Hunt Northwest is presented by Better Homes and Gardens Pacific Commons Real Estate, located in Puyallup, Washington. Joe Maxwell and team will take care of you. Of course, our good buddies out there at Defiance Marine, manufacturers of the Defiance boat, of course, Arima and the Allied series, which I'm very happy to get out on the water as often as we can. Check out everything they have going on at defiancemarine.com. And, of course, good friends over at Phoenix Protective Corp, www.phoenixprotectivecorp.com. I caught up with JC Shaw last week, owner of Phoenix. They are just finishing up this year's ride, and they got a whole lot of stuff coming out this next year. You and I are going to be involved with. It's pretty exciting stuff. So haven't even had time to tell you about all this stuff.
I know.
It's too much going on here at Fish Hunt Northwest, and we love it. So with that, also want to remind you folks, hey, jump over to our webpage, www.fishhuntnw.com. All merchandise is 20% off. That sale kicked off here several days ago. All merchandise, everything we currently have in inventory, get it because it's going fast. You want to get your size, find some of that stuff while we have it. Blowing stuff out. We got new items coming, new hat designs, new tuna hat designs, new shirts, lots of new apparel. We're getting inventory swapped out. We're going to be getting ready for that Puyallup Sportsman Show, which is going to happen first week of February. Much more on that coming down the road. So get to our website, order your, your merchandise and wear it proudly. So with that, Tommy, we are finally back in studio together. Plenty that's been going on. I just returned trip yesterday from fish camp, and you'll see periodically out there on social media. It's like, oh yeah, we got fish camp set up. We got fish camp. This is fish camp. This is the
real fish camp.
This is the real fish camp. Well, I mean, I have buddies and we have fish camp too, which is a heck of a lot of fun. Not to discredit that. This is designed for and has been established for years back. When you guys were following me on radio, we used to attend Ed Iman's annual fish camp, and we get over there and get connected with folks in industry. You have media persons, you have outfitters and guides, and you have persons from manufacturing. So you bring those three entities together, and the goal is to have media folks spending time with representatives of industry and manufacturing, talking about products that they're bringing out and things to use and look forward to. And then, of course, we have guides and outfitters who are taking these groups fishing. And so anytime you get those types of three personalities and collective minds together in a boat, good things happen, right? For guys like you and I, spending times with owners of companies and letting them see what it is we do, they get intrigued, they want to get involved, they get involved with us, we bring you product, and they also become, hopefully, future advertisers, which allows us to keep this type of program going. So that's really the intent. And we got to do a little fishing.
Yeah,
right?
a little bit.
Got to do a little fishing in the windstorms and whatnot, but we're going to bring you that a little later in the show. For those who have been asking about what those upper Columbia River fisheries are like, here's a good depiction of what that is above Bonneville, up there just outside the mouth of the Deschutes River on the Columbia. With our buddy Aaron Peterson for one day, I did take the cameras, got some great footage of us in that early morning bite and the mayhem that ensues. Stick around for that. You definitely want to see how that all comes together. Also along those lines, Tommy, you a little further than I to get back here in studio. You just got back from CABO, man. Just
got back from CABO. You know, I didn't really intend to be out of studio that long, but you know, before the CABO trip,
Junior
I
told everybody,
down, right?
I said, Tommy is a massive behemoth of a man taken out by a Micron 1-year-old, right?
You know, and they're playing with the other kids. They're putting stuff in their mouth, and of course he comes home. He got sick. He got a stomach bug. And then of course he was kind enough to give it to me. Right. And you know, I texted you before the show, and I'm like, hey, I just got done puking, but I'm going to get cleaned up and I'm going to be on my way. And you're like, no, we're good.
I'm going to go solo tonight, buddy. You just, you know, kneel for that toilet. Do what you got to do. We will get through this. So we have set time aside later on the show for you to catch us up on the CABO. And really, like your words, this is why everybody needs to go to CABO at least once, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Once a year.
At least once a year. Once a year, right? Gotcha. Yep. Yeah. So you'll catch us up on that. Definitely some fantastic info about CABO and why you should go. This man's going to tell you exactly why. Gosh, you know, they've announced the clam digs here quite some time ago. They came out. They kept putting or referring to it as tentative dates. I'm here to tell you, tentative is no longer a word that we're using, although it's probably on the info out there still. These dates are kicking off tomorrow, Friday, the 17th, 4:30 a.m. Minus tide, Long Beach, Twin Harbors, and Mocrox. So it may say tentative, but I'm here to tell you the domoic acid levels are well down. You know, at very safe levels, and so here you go, guys. We have opportunities now. The interesting thing with this first week of tide sets, which September 22nd, the anniversary, thank you, Wednesday, September 22nd, we're into a 7:54 a.m. minus tide, so daylight hours, Tommy.
Yeah,
that's one of those deals. You can go out there, get your clams, and then do a little surf perch fishing if you so desire. And it just makes for a great day to run to the coast. You know, here from out of the Olympia area, we literally have clam beaches an hour away.
I know. You lucky dog. And
they've bumped that to a 20 clam limit. I mean, your limit is now 20 clams, right? I believe last year when we were talking with biologists and they were truly gathering data to establish what they thought the amount, because you don't want to dig deep into the stupid pun. You don't want to dig deep
pun
into
intended.
Dig deep into the entire bounty, right? There's excess of 20 million clams.
Yeah.
And they're going to manage that to an impact of no more than 10 or 50%, right? So obviously if they're giving us 20 clams per digger, we have opportunity of an abundance, and they're going to be nice size because we haven't been out digging them.
Right. That's got to be an interesting discussion. I mean, managing clams. They're like, oh, we got to get these clams off the beaches.
Yeah.
You know, we got to bring down the population
Far
of clams.
too many.
I wonder how that discussion goes.
I wish they would be forced to have that discussion of fish. I've often said, you know, I don't remember the last time I sat in a meeting where a fisheries manager actually stood up and proclaimed, you guys are doing this all wrong. We got to figure this out. There are far too many fish hitting the gravel, right?
Well, they are saying there's far too many hatchery fish hitting the gravel.
Well, that's,
that's something that's a continued battle. But,
and they're wrong. But,
you know,
a great opportunity, daylight dig, especially this week. Then we'll kick into those evening time digs.
You do got to watch out, though. I mean, we're going to get some weather this weekend.
True, good point.
And it's going to be pretty nautical. Mm-hmm. We're going to get quite the blow. So, and it's going to be a wet one too.
It is.
So you never turn your back on the ocean.
No,
you always have to keep an eye out.
Yes.
Maybe, you know, this first couple digs, probably not the best one to get your little ones out on the beach.
I would wait till about Tuesday and Wednesday. If I was going to go and take family, the weather that is blowing in should be done Sunday late afternoon, early evening. Gives you a day or so to settle down. Winds will die down. Rain will be done. We're back to sunny weather, mid-70s, probably 55 to 60 out on the coast, and morning tides that are conducive to digging, full-on daylight hours. Get the kids out there if they're not in school, and enjoy. It's a great opportunity. Yeah. And of course, you know, every kid off your hip is another limit of 20 clams.
That's right. Just remember, they have to be involved in the process.
They have to carry their own bag.
Right. And there's actually, I think there's actually a video on the WDFW website.
There is.
That says, you know, if your kid can just pick up the clam out of the hole, you know, or pick up, you know, out of the dirt, out of the sand, that's good enough.
And then tie the bag to them so they have to carry their own limit, even if it's dragging.
And your limit too, right?
Well, no, you can't. You have to carry your limit. I would have to carry my limit. You have to keep those 20.
Can't make the kid do it?
No, they have to carry their 20. They're on the hook.
There you go.
Hey, Mr. Crabber, you ready for October 1st?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Are you? October 1st is what?
Well, hopefully they're going to, you know, we don't have the actual seasons yet.
True. But,
you know, depending on the marine area, we're going to get some crab openers, hopefully.
We are. But by October 1st, to make your purchase of your next winter crab card purchase, you know, non-penalized.
Yeah, right.
You need to have your summer card in by no later than October 1st.
Already did it.
You know, it's so easy to get online.
Yep.
Right? If you haven't established your WDFW online account, you need to do that, because all your tags, all your points, all your information, every tag or every license you purchase, anything that you are accountable to enter at the end of said season. So yeah, it's not the end of the year, but it is end of summer crab season. They want that data collected by October 1. So you can get online, submit that just that easy, click the box, and you're done. Don't have to drive in anywhere, don't have to mail it in, don't have to do any of that. So
the hardest part is remembering your password and username.
Yeah,
that is the most difficult part.
I have 4 pages. I have 4 pages of passwords, and it's ridiculous. So many logins, but it is what it is. So get your cards turned in. Tommy, you mentioned it here before we jump out for a break. Want to make everybody well aware. We do have some weather finally coming in, and it's either a friend or foe, depending. Now, if you're going to be fishing the saltwater, Puget Sound, through the weekend, or say Monday, Tuesday even, as we roll into next week, looking forward to that Everett Coho Derby, you might not want the amount of rain that is coming.
Right.
Because that amount of fresh water into Puget Sound will do what?
Yeah, that's going to send them into the river.
That'll just draw them coho, and the scraggly remaining pinks that might be milling around out there will flush as well. But yeah, good point. That fresh water is what they look for, and once they smell that, it's game on. Those fish will be hitting the rivers Friday. A pretty substantial amount of rain coming, especially if you're out there on the coast. Anywhere upwards of 2 to 3 inches, possibly. Look at that red out there on the very tip of the state there, Tommy. That's definitely some. That's you know, getting up in that almost 2.5, 3 inch part there, and up in the Cascades we got at least a solid 1.5 inches. That water's all got to go somewhere. That's just Friday. That's going to be followed by Saturday with another 1 to 1.5 inches, depending where you are. Sunday, some areas might drop down to about 1/4 inch, upwards of 1 inch, but accumulatively, right? This is going to build these rivers. And what do we know about when rivers flush the first time of the season? It's going to grab all that dry debris that's all along the shoreline, and it's going to be flushing sticks and wood and you know, leaves. We don't have a lot of leaves on the ground quite yet, but we do have the dead dry ones from a hot summer. That stuff has been building up, so the rivers are going to get an early flush. But boy, I'm telling you, by say Tuesday, Wednesday, when some of these coastal rivers get on the drop, that's why I said it's either friend or foe. If you're out in the salt, you probably don't want to see this rain. If you're waiting for these coastal streams to get a bump of water, then move these fish in and get them moving up river. It's going to do a couple things. Yeah, it's going to get that first flush of fish. Some of those darker fish that are in the lower shallow water is going to finally push them all the way up as far as they're willing to go, which would be a good distance. It's going to spread out the fish amongst the river. In your lower sections, you're going to have more area to cover, which will spread out the effort as well, right? Everybody's not.
Well, and you know, and the other thing, and we're going to get into the, you know, how the tuna fishing is, how it's been, but you know, we're really hoping for this weather pattern to shake up the tuna fishing a bit. And hopefully bring them a little bit closer to home.
Yeah, absolutely. That we'll jump into that when we kind of review your WTC. Running down the show, in fact, looking at that, we are going to take a preview of Fish Camp in the video we've put together, show you guys that Upper Columbia River fishery above Bonneville, what that all looks like with our buddy Aaron Peterson. Tommy will recap your CABO and reasons why folks need to go. Of course, we also want to pay you some well-deserved credit for you and your team, usual suspects in the WTC Championship. Yeah. We're slated to kind of bring that out here couple weeks ago, but Junior saw it differently. So,
right, yes.
But along with that, we're going to get an update from Tommy exactly, as you just kind of mentioned, what is going on with the tuna. How far out are they currently, kind of, and what's it taken, and can we get live bait yet, right? So that's the big question. So we'll kind of touch on that. For those that are trying to figure out how to carkin your first tuna, you did an excellent job in that video, by the way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you know, I do a few tuna.
Once in a while.
I try to leave that to the crew, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I was the crew that trip.
Yeah, you were.
So you made me do one.
I did, and as I alluded to, a hell of a deckhand. So, 12, whatever our portion was, and you did a nice job, and we captured that on video. So, for the educational purposes, the how-to tonight will actually be a slight pre-record of Tommy walking you through the process of carking a tuna, which is something people mess up repeatedly. This is a great process to follow along with him. He's going to get you squared away on that. Then, of course, we'll wind up covering a number of these fisheries that are just getting lobbed on. Man, the emails are coming in daily. All these openings, opportunities, extended dates. I mean, we're going to be in October. You got to decide, what is it? Salmon, lower river salmon, upper river salmon, tributaries, Puget Sound, Coho. I got sturgeon dates. Do I go after halibut? Tuna still, if the weather's allowing? I mean,
yep. And there's no shortage of opportunity. You know, and the thing that we still have to mention too is we're starting to get squid. You know, calamari and Puget Sound. So
the other thing we need to mention is, hey, not sure if you're aware, but it is elk season. It opened the 11th for archery elk. Hunting is here. Fishing opportunity is here. We got a lot going on. If you're living in the Northwest and not taking advantage of any of this, clamming, crabbing, the whole deal, you're missing out, man. So we're here to help you get your head squared on straight and figure out how we're going to get there. So, all right, unless you got something else to add.
No, I was going to say we're going to help you spend money too.
That is the truth. Yeah. Don't look at my bank account lately. Don't let Sherry know. Right. All right. We'll jump out for a quick couple-minute break. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. When we come back, you're going to enjoy this piece with Aaron Peterson, Peterson Northwest Guide, over there just outside the Deschutes River, mouth of the Deschutes, on the Columbia, going after those Chinook. And I think you're probably going to be pretty impressed with how bright these fish actually are. They maintain their color pretty well, even though they've traveled several hundred miles. So quick break, come back. We'll be up there on the Columbia outside the Deschutes with Aaron Peterson.
Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Whether you are looking for a small skiff to fish the Sound or rivers, or a huge offshore tuna machine, Defiance Marine has it. At Defiance Marine, be sure to power your boat with a Honda outboard package. Take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty on your Honda outboards. Our service department is always here to help and serve you as the customer. Did you know Defiance Marine has boat financing experts to help get you the best term rates on your new boat purchase? If you need financing for that new boat, call us today. We guarantee the best price, best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine also carries all the gear that you will need. Everything from auxiliary kicker motors to fishing tackle and bait. Defiance Marine has certified technicians that are top-notch at their job. Some of the best in the Pacific Northwest at evaluating your boat issues and problems. Stop in today or give us a call for all your needs at Defiance Marine.
Today, the need for quality private security services is at an all-time high. Contract Security Service provides day-to-day peace of mind as they protect people and property. Here at Phoenix, we provide service for multiple state and federal contracts with services ranging from uniform, patrol, alarm monitoring, canine detection, executive protection, as well as investigative work. Phoenix client management models are built on understanding our clients' security needs and responding with a tailored program that is best fit for them. Phoenix provides excellent customer service through well-trained, highly motivated security professionals. Recruiting highly qualified officers is the first step in building a strong team. Currently, we are comprised of 70% prior law enforcement and military veterans. If you are prior military or law enforcement, go to www.phoenixprotectivecorps.com and apply today.
Hey guys, Duane England here. Kind of on the water, not really. We're obviously sitting at a picnic table. Aaron Peterson, Peterson's Northwest Guide. You've heard Aaron on the show multiple times, whether we're talking fishing and or waterfowl hunting in the fall, and rest assured he'll be back on with us later this year. That's a guarantee. How you doing, bud?
Great. A little tired.
Now, typically we like to bring you our on the water segments, showing you the morning, how it unfolds, bring you a little intro segment that we put together, typically talking with the guide, of which my buddy Aaron was our guide today. We are here at Fish Camp, the annual Ed Imons. This is 2021 Fish Camp, an opportunity to bring persons in media, outfitters, and guides like Aaron, along with persons in industry. As an example, we had Striker Rods with us today, Duane and Alan. And we also had Josh and Joey from Worksharp joined us in the boat again today. So, and that's really the trifecta. We bring outfitter, media, and persons in industry, manufacturers to the table and bring us in a boat and get the day out fishing. We did just that with Aaron this morning. Now, the reason I say we typically bring you an intro segment in the morning, because that's kind of how we like to get the day to unfold. But today, little different, man. The wind, the opportunity to get an intro done just wasn't happening. That wind this morning. What do you think?
A little nautical out there.
A little nautical.
Cruising out, taking them over the bow.
Tell everybody where we're at, where we're fishing here on the Columbia.
Well, we're at Peach Beach for Ed Imons Camp. Like Duane said, primarily fishing the Deschutes. We'll occasionally hop down to the Klickitat, but we like hanging close to camp.
Yeah, Deschutes is just a 10-15 minute run down the street. Launch the boat, go under the bridge, watch that shallow water, get out there in the Columbia. And again, we're not fishing very deep water, 30 to 40 foot. If that, in pearl trolls, spinners, doing the lead drop drill, you know, this type of presentation. We've talked about it on the phone on the show. We've talked about it down at Buoy 10, used it in Willapa, used it in the ocean last week out of Westport for Coho, because we didn't need to go off of downriggers. They're so high in the service. Lead dropper works. Lead dropper works for Coho and Puget Sound when they're up high in the prop wash. So it has its place, and it's spreading spreading like wildfire. It's become so versatile in so many fisheries. It's one that you rely on a high percentage of the time a year for your salmon fisheries.
I can't remember the last time I had riggers on my boat.
Yeah.
Maybe a real deep water coconut.
Yeah, exactly. So before we get too far into the conversation about what this is all about, we're going to jump to some of the footage we shot today, some of the fish we landed, and how we got it done. And after we get through that, we'll bring it back here and close it out. So enjoy.
Joey, you feeling okay?
Yeah, why? Try not to scare the fish.
Nice. Hey, Metal Rock, fish on, Alan. Go, get it out of the motor, buddy. Get it out of the motor, get it out of the motor. Come on, come back, buddy, come back, buddy. Come back, buddy. Reel. Yeah. All right, let's get him back out. Where? Right here. Right here. Why is it not? Hey guys, so no. Front rod, front hand. See this? We just lost pressure onto these fish on spinners, so that's how we lose them. And that's a real one.
That's a good fish.
That's a real one, buddy. You all right? Are you good? Okay.
So I can leave that quick on.
You need a net?
So I know you guys are all experienced fishermen and you don't like clickers probably, but I do it because I know where the fish is and if I have to yell at fish.
There you go.
But you know how to fish. Thanks, Joey. Appreciate it. Alan, good habit to get in is leave like 8 feet out so it swings right to your hand. So, how far out are you? Hey, underneath you! Is he right? No, I mean the normal thing is to do is slack out and let us fight our fish, but if it's convenient, all tangled up and net.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sure. Try to net him, buddy, then. Okay, slack off.
You gotta slack off,
Yeah, hey, welcome to that. It's ran by a clown. His name's Aaron.
Aaron the clown.
Gosh.
That fish took off.
Joey, bring her up, buddy. Now, as that fish hit that so aggressively, it broke that plastic clevis holding the spinner. When I was like, where'd your blade go? There's a streaking fish on the fish finder coming up to bite Joey's rod right now. 16, imagine 25, 30, and 40. Yep. Ah, there it is. That hook got under the tongue. Digging. You know what that means, right?
What's that?
You know what it means when your bow rods are starting to catch a lot of fish?
What?
Heavier lead closer to the bottom.
The Dalles Dam, the John Dam?
Correct. Yep. Doing good, buddy. Doing great. The rod angle, good You lift up when the lead gets there. You lift up. Good job. You pull
Nice fish.
Out.
Nice fish. lead. There we go. Yeah.
Right in his mouth, bottom.
There you go.
No.
Beauty.
Nice. That's a wrap.
Oh, what was that?
It's a wrap.
You guys are killing me.
I'm telling you, lots of music on these videos.
Yeah.
What was it, Duane? ACDC or OCDC?
Yeah. OCDC. Yeah. All right, welcome back. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. It was a heck of a morning, dude. I'm telling you that the wind this morning had you like scratching your head and just trying to fish efficiently, right?
More frustration.
More frustrated?
I mean, you running 6 rods, I mean, you're crab walking in the wind, you're, what, 2, 3 of your rods are really fishing?
Yeah, so when you look at that spread of 6 rods and later in the afternoon, you know, mid-morning afternoon, the wind laid down, we got 6 rods deployed. You have various weights on depending on the position of the rod on the boat, bow, midship, or stern. And we're running these 360s, and these have a roll and a thump to them that puts that rod tip in a cadence, right?
Correct.
Talk a little bit about what you're looking for ideally when you watch that rod tip action moving. You know, is it a vibration? Is it just a circular motion? What's that rod really need to do to indicate to you that it's fishing properly?
Well, it's like when someone says, how fast are you trolling? What? I don't know. I've never looked at a speed on a graph. It's the rod. That's why rods are so important to the 360 fishing, because you get a roll of a flasher and you're going fast and it's just a thump. You start slowing down, it's a really slow thump, but are you getting that snap, that kick of the flasher, you know, these agitator fins. So for me, it's just the right bumper length, the right presentation, the right speed. 90% of everybody goes way too fast. They're getting the roll, but they ain't getting the top. They ain't getting
so
that.
It's doing a tighter circle, smaller circumference.
I bet it isn't even 1.5 feet when they're going fast.
And you want that much bigger and almost like an egg. Oblong, right?
Honestly, really what you're looking for, you take these moderate action rods, really parabolic, you know, these technology.
Yeah.
And you're looking for that really nice, gradual, slow thump. Everybody's probably heard of the thump a second. But everybody runs different bumper lengths and different leads. So really what I look for is the snap. I mean, I'm looking for what's that instinctual bite gonna, you know, long leaders, this thing's just doing this. You shorten your leader and it's starting to, your spinner, your super bait's starting to do that.
Up
so
and down.
Slow it down and read your rod.
Gotcha. Talk bumper length. Now that's the section of that heavy gauge monofilament that we're using out in front of the flasher to your terminal clip.
Yeah.
Why would you vary this length? What's that going to do on this to that
well,
flasher?
You got lead in front of it. I mean, physics. I mean, what do you want to say? The closer your lead is to something, it's hindering that roll.
Correct.
It's tightening it up. It's closer. You're getting farther away. It's letting it go. It's letting it do its thing.
What's the shortest you'll ever fish?
Well, I mean, with pro trolls, I mean, I've fished 22 inches, but I've also fished 30 inches on bumpers. I mean, current plays a role.
Sure.
Lead ball, I mean, heavy lead,
yeah,
light lead, but I mean, your go-to everybody, I mean, the most go-to bumper length is a 24 inch.
Okay.
I mean, I run 24 to 28.
Yeah.
That's just pretty much what it is now.
And then talk about leader length on these 3.5 spinners. And you run a variety of patterns and colors. Much like I talked about on the show previously, Aaron, you like to tie a stinger hook onto your treble hook at the base of your spinner. Talk a little bit about leader length and how you decide what the leader length is going to be on these 3.5s.
That would have to do if we're fishing summer run, fall run, aggressive fish, holding fish, traveling fish. But my go-to on spinners is 25, 26 to 29 on spinners. Instinctual bite, slowing it down. Sometimes the fish are holding, stopping in those estuaries to cool down. But typically spinners, I'm pretty short.
Yeah.
I'll go to 24 sometimes.
30, 40-pound test.
That's a mix.
Fluorocarbon, what do you think?
I really mix that up.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's not 40 pound because you're like, oh, I got to fight that big fish. That's just a rigid line.
It's like a wire.
So it's like coho fishing the salt. Everybody's like, why are you running a 40-pound leader?
Yeah.
Well, it's like it's just slamming. It's whipping. You lose it in the 20-pound, that snap.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I've drilled it down. I mean, I've expressed it the same holds true like with kokanee fisheries, right? Smaller presentation, small dodger, but a stiff leader. Fluorocarbon, 15 pound. I don't need 15-pound fluorocarbon to hold the fish. Yeah, it makes my leader more durable and you can catch fish after fish after fish.
Yeah.
That being said, it's more to do with the action that it transmits from the dodger into that lure, right? 100%. Same thing.
Yep. I mean, Bernita, they start developing teeth like a.
Oh yeah.
But I
wear and tear.
I definitely hop back and forth between 30 and 40.
Yeah. And leader length varies again depending on fishery, current, temperature. If I'm looking to outfit my boat with a fishing rod that's going to be conducive to putting a good thump on these 360s, what should I look for? Heavy, medium rod, 10-6. What's my line weight? What am I looking for? Moderate rod.
Nothing fast action. You want a parabolic rod. You don't want too light because you don't have the backbone. You don't want too stiff because, I mean, the hook sets and reading the rods. So, I mean, 15 to 30, 4-power rod, 1064 if you want to get the rods out and run a lot of rods. 9.5. I mean, I run that XCC Lama glass and love it.
Yeah.
You can read everything on that rod. I mean, it's a composite rod, so it's made for that.
Right. We one of the benefits of Fish Camp is bringing folks together, and again, we got Striker rods here. They brought some prototypes out. We did some testing today, watching the rods and how they act in the water with this agitator or flasher on them, and you can see the difference in those rods and how they behave. Same troll speed once the water settled down. I mean, when it was windy and we were crabbing, it was tough to gauge. Yeah. We also had the opportunity to watch how some rods load up with fish versus others, and do they transmit enough pressure in that rod to truly set a hook? Is the tip too soft and it loses that transmission through the rod? And talking with Bobby Loomis as he's working on a couple different rods and just kind of looking at stuff, you know, it was pretty clear. We had one rod that, hey, a couple good takedowns on it and it didn't exactly sink the hooks in, but
just noticed it.
But you notice it, right? Something's different, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of the purposefully is what we're doing. We're looking at rods, how they react.
Absolutely.
As it presents the gear, as it loads up when a fish is on it. Does it get the job done? When you throttle up and try to bury that hook, is there enough there to really anchor that hook into that fish through the backbone on that rod? And in some cases yes, in some cases no. So it's kind of an interesting opportunity to be out here testing gear and see how it works in the field.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. So anyway, hopefully that clears up a few questions some of you may have on some of these lead fisheries, using pro trolls, using 3.5 spinner blades. It's become, like I said, widespread. It's all the way up and down the Columbia. I mean, whatever fishery you go to. And it's for good reason. It's very effective in fishing. Hey, we got another day of fishing tomorrow, jumping around other people's boats, but can't thank you enough for today.
That was fun.
Day 1 is in the books. We got some wind coming this week. I mean, we're talking 28 miles per hour on a Wednesday, gusts of 40.
Who's sleeping?
I don't think we're fishing on Wednesday, but we'll see. All right, Aaron, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Had a great day. Lots of fun, and we'll see what tomorrow brings.
Can't wait.
Sound like a plan?
Yep.
All right, we're gonna jump out for a quick break. We'll be back in studio right after this.
Here you know.
Hey, welcome back in studio. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Little look as to what goes on up there above Bonneville, Tommy, outside the chutes there.
Well, I always find it interesting too, right? Because it's a different tactic, right? Using different than what I would use on the saltwater, right? But, you know, I mean, as you and I found out earlier this year when we were at Nia Bay, we do some shallow water fishing.
Correct.
And so, you know, I want to try the 360, you know, with the heavy sinker, and running that as a stinger rod right out the middle and the back.
Yeah.
And especially with the agitator. And I would have never, you know, in the ocean I troll pretty quick.
Yep.
And I would have never kind of thought about, you know, in some of the situations where maybe the bite's tough, and you're marking fish, you know, we're marking fish on the Raymarine sonar all day. You can see them laying there on the bottom, right? But, you know, what I like to do in tuna fishing, if I'm marking fish, but they're not hooking up on the troll going 6.5 knots, I slow down, right? I let that lure spend more time in the water above them so they can really get a feel for it.
Sure.
And I think it could work the same way for salmon, right? Give them a you know, more of a time slot to be able to view that herring or that lure. And so I really want to kind of invest in those pro troll agitators and give that a try. Slow down the troll speed, you know, allow it to whip, and then try that method without downriggers and see, you know, just see what happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, it flat out works for coho, obviously, right? But if we can drop a little deeper and get those mid-suspended kings, we're in that 40-foot water. If we can get them at 25 feet, I mean, fantastic. And rig those to be a breakaway, and life's good. I mean, it can be a pretty... Who doesn't want to get fish on out of the downrigger, right? I mean, if you don't have to use them, it's just a great way. And all these river fisheries, all these troll fisheries, and using these lead, and whether it's clip tight to the keeper like it was with Aaron's rigs, or using droppers out of Buoy 10 or other parts of the Columbia River, it all relates. It's all similar, same. And at the end of the day, you know, troll speed is key. Rod action, as Aaron and I were talking, rod action is key to get that the exact thump and cadence in that presentation that transmits into the lure, that's gonna, you know, instinctively get that fish to bite. So that was our over the rail presentation for this week, presented by Defiance Marine. And Over the Rail, brought to you by Defiance Marine. Tommy, we're gonna jump out for a quick couple-minute break here. Coming back, you are going to tell me and everybody else tuning in this evening why it's so important that we save our pennies and plan that trip to CABO.
That's right. It's good for your health.
It's good for your health.
We'll cover that next.
All right. We'll keep that one on your head. It's good for your health. Back here in 2 minutes in studio, Tommy Donlan, and why you need to go to CABO right here, Fish on Northwest.
Co, an outdoor emporium, is the largest local outfitter in the Northwest since 1975, providing thousands of people affordable outdoor gear. This summer, make your next outdoor adventure more affordable by shopping at our warehouse-style pricing. We are a local Scotty dealer, offering sales, service, and repair. Located in Fife and Seattle, come visit us today. The outdoors await you.
It's easier than ever to browse homes and connect with an agent on the go with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate's mobile app. With the app, your home search is synced across all of your devices, so you can pick up your home search anytime, anywhere. Take full advantage of an enriched, mobile-optimized map search experience. Use location services to quickly find homes near you that match your search criteria. Draw your own map boundaries to find homes in a specific area, and apply layers to view school districts, neighborhoods, zip codes, and more. The app's user-friendly design makes it easier than ever to find a home you'll love. Narrow down your search results, save your search criteria, and save your favorite homes. You can browse your saved homes in a list view that puts photos and key details like price and square footage right at your fingertips. Or check out your saved homes displayed on the map.
Yep, for sure. Oh yeah, big fish. Yeah, buddy. Nice fish. Oh, beauty. Gorgeous fish.
Bobby's on the board.
We got a good one.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
oh, oh. Oh, geez, come on.
Nice fish. Nice fish.
Hey, welcome back in studio here, Fish on Northwest, Duane England, Tommy Donlan. Boy, it feels good to be back in studio.
It does, man. It really does.
Lots of stuff to cover here. Yeah. Speaking of which, Fisheries, what you need to know, presented by Better Homes and Gardens Pacific Commons. Yeah, Fisheries for sure. CABO brings you a whole lot of things. What was your favorite part?
You know, so one of my favorite parts about CABO is that you're getting a different fishing experience, right? So, you know, if you go out into the Puget Sound and you troll for coho, that's going to be the same thing that you do every time out, right? And you might switch it up a little bit, different spoons, different colors, you're trying to match the hatch, that kind of thing, but you're still trolling for salmon.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. When I go to places like, you know, whether it's Florida, right, and I'm kite fishing live bait, or I'm going to Costa Rica, right, we're trolling for sailfish. If I go to CABO, it's learning these different tactics, right? It's getting excited about fishing again in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and one of the things is I want to master all of these tactics, no matter where I go, no matter what I'm fishing for. And the thing that you will begin to see is that they bleed over, right, into other fisheries. Like the things that I will learn in Massachusetts fishing for bluefin at Stellwagen Bank is applicable to our albacore fishery in some sense, right?
Sure, yeah.
Some of those tactics and some of those learnings, how to read the water, right? And fishing with different people also helps you learn a different perspective, right? How to look at a given fishery. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things that really drives me. But then after you get a feel for the tactics, then you put them into play. And then you reap the dividends of it, you know? And so to give you an example of this, I mean, we go down to CABO because we stay at a 5-star resort, all inclusive, and we fish, right? So, and the weather's 80 degrees. You can't beat
go
that,
wrong,
right?
yeah.
Now, I fished the World Championship in Costa Rica 3 times for sailfish. And that is, that tournament is a very heavy dead bait fishery, and the dead bait being ballyhoo predominantly, right? You can't catch live bait during the tournament and use it. You can't buy live bait. You have to fish dead bait, and it's got to be with a non-offset circle hook. Okay, that's part of the regulation.
Why did they implement the dead bait rule?
Yeah, so it's just to level the playing field, make it all even. You know, and the other thing too is you're using circle hooks, right? Because really, they're promoting the release of billfish, right, for the tournament. You know, it's not like our tuna tournament where you've got this millions and millions of albacore tuna and you're taking 1% of the total biomass every year, right?
Sure.
These billfish don't have those kind of numbers, at least in the case of sailfish. You know, and then in Costa Rica, they're getting hit with a lot of that longliner fleet.
Yeah.
They've done a lot to clean that up. The striped marlin fishery in CABO is doing really well. You know, they don't have quite the same challenges that Costa Rica's had in managing some of their fisheries. But, you know, we go to CABO, we get down there, and we're fishing with, you know, I'll just be honest with you, we're fishing with the second string boat, okay? Because my first string guy, Mike Tumbiero, Renegade Mike, is out of the water right now. He actually just became part of Team Ray Marine. He's got his boat out of the water. He's getting 31 Bertram completely refitted with Ray Marine electronics.
Gotcha.
And so he's my #1 guy. Crazy Cuban is his nickname. But and so I'm going with another guy. And, you know, last year we went with this guy, just really good at fishing the kite for tuna, trolling the kite, trolling a yummy flyer behind the boat. You know, so you look at last year, we got 13 yellowfin for 3 days of fishing. The biggest was 77 pounds. I mean, that's pretty good fishing, right?
I remember.
Anytime you can stack that kind of meat, bring it home, and see that game. This year was completely different. The tuna were offshore. They were in that like 30 to 40 mile range, you know, and the bread and butter of the CABO fleet is anywhere from like a 28 to a 31 Bertram. They're not fast boats.
Sure.
Okay. You're looking at, depending on what engines they have, they're like a 15 to a 17 knot boat, you know, so running 40 miles out, you know, is just not necessarily an efficient choice. And to be honest with you, they consider that a long trip. Okay.
Well, I would too in that boat.
I consider that a chip shot.
Yeah.
Okay. That's like shooting your bull elk at 200 yards, right?
Yeah, but
broadside.
It doesn't depend on the boat. I mean, if you had your boat, if you had Jason's boat,
right, it'd be game over. We'd be going.
You'd run all day long.
Right.
No big deal. Yeah.
So we stayed close to home. That was part of the game. We fished 3 days. You know, one of the great things about CABO is that the amount of Dorado there, you know, mahi on the beach is just incredible. Okay, so, you know, right off the beach and anywhere from, you know, kind of that 80 to 200 foot range, it's just loaded with Dorado up and down. So you could just troll up and down the beach and you're hooking Dorado after Dorado.
How far off the beach?
Oh, it's less than a mile.
Oh.
It's like right there.
Yeah.
In fact, guys commonly will catch them, you know, just right off the beach, along with Sierra mackerel.
I don't know why they're in so close.
That's where they run.
That's where they are.
And so, you know, and your average is going to be in kind of that like 8 to 10 pound range, but you can get them in the 30 to 40 pound range as well. You know, and so that's kind of like a good backup plan. And we did get Dorado.
Is that your favorite tasting fish down there?
No. The yellowfin by far.
Okay.
Yeah, yellowfin by far.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we're on day number 3. And we've got Dorado in our bag, but that's it, right? And it's like, okay, it's time to up the ante. Let's go for marlin. Let's see what we can do. And, you know, I'm going to get into some complaining here. You guys are going to hear me complain. I'm going to tell you my pet peeves, the things that I don't like, and this will help you. It doesn't matter where you travel, working with charters and captains all over the world. This is just some advice, and I'm going to walk through these.
All right,
okay?
let's have it.
So
break it down for us.
You know, so okay, we're out there, we're trolling, right? And the troll spread, we've got a whopping 2 total ballyhoo in the boat. That's it. That is it for ballyhoo. We've got some live caballitos. Caballito is a goggle eye, okay, which is a great live bait, super strong live bait. But in terms of, you know, baits that we control, that look like a beautiful bait fish, we've got 2 ballyhoo. Okay, that's my complaint number 1, right? You never leave. Would you leave the dock for salmon fishing and say, hey, here's 2 herring. Good luck today. Right? That's not going to happen.
Maybe I'm on a tight budget.
That's not going to happen. You're on a really tight budget if that's happening, my friend.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. So we're trolling, and we are in the zone. Okay, there's fish. We're you know, we're seeing some marlin. Other boats are hooked up. Boom. The one ballyhoo that we're running at the time gets bit. Okay, we're on, and boom, you see the sailfish jump out of the water. He's peeling line. This lasts for a whopping 4 seconds, and then bink.
Bro,
he's off. I'm like, what the heck? That doesn't make any sense, you know. Circle hook, he took it, turned the other way, we fed him, you know, he's jumping out of the water, that massive sail is just getting flat back and forth, and you're thinking, what the heck's going on? And I'm like, this doesn't seem right. This does not seem right. I reel it in, and the perfection loop that the mate tied, he did not tighten. So you could see an overhand knot in the line, you could see where it had gone around the hook, and then the hook's missing because it's still in the fish, right?
Yeah.
So tie good knots, okay?
Let me write that down.
Number two. Now here's the thing. Usually I would say, look, you know, these guys are charters, these are professional mates, but leave nothing to chance, okay? You paid for this trip. You should feel free to check the knots, check the bait rigging. That was the other thing that I was a little bit disappointed in, is with ballyhoo, you know, you're taking this bait, okay? And if you've ever seen a ballyhoo, they got a long beak that extends off their lower jaw. Now, there's a process, right? Like when you do your egg curing videos, there's a very specific step-by-step process that you go through to cure those eggs to make them perfect for the application, okay?
Yeah.
This ballyhoo, it's the same thing. Okay, I'll walk you through it really quick. You break the beak off, right? But it's got to be orthogonal to the fish, right? You don't want to break it at an angle. It's got to be a perfect cut. You poop the bait. You poop the bait.
Really?
You take the bait and you run your fingers along it and you get everything that's in that gut cavity, you get it out, okay? Because you want a streamlined bait. And all that acid that's inside the stomach of that bait, as it's running behind the boat in these, it's 78, 80 degree water. It basically will tear apart that belly of that bait. So you got to get the poop out, okay? You take the pec fins and you cut them. Because you don't want like a pec fin sticking out and all of a sudden it's creating drag on the one side. Now you've got a bait that's digging to the one side, doesn't look right. So you cut those off. Okay, then you break the back. You take and you basically separate the vertebrae down the bait.
So it wiggles?
And you put an S in it so it wiggles, right? Okay. Then you chin weight it. Okay, and there's a method that we use to basically put an egg sinker in the chin of this ballyhoo. And now you can put a hook in it and run it behind the boat, and it looks like that bait is alive.
Let me guess, the first mate really didn't know any of this?
Correct. You got it. Bingo, bingo. So item number 3.
Did you school him up? Did you say anything?
I did. We brought it back in. I sewed it up. I rehooked the bait, sent it back out. So fish number 2 was that striped marlin that you see in the picture.
Yeah.
In the picture, Jordan. You know the picture?
Yeah, the striped marlin with him and Jerry.
So that one, and this is where I'm going to say, like, if your mate is not doing the job and you know it, don't worry about hurting their feelings. Make sure you catch the fish.
Yeah.
So I basically went through, grabbed the rod, grabbed the reel, cut the knots off both ends.
The ballyhoo has nuts.
The ballyhoo has nuts. Cut them off.
Gotcha.
You got to castrate the ballyhoo. The knots on both ends of the leader, right? Because there's 2 perfection loops. There's one on the top end that hooks to the swivel.
Yep.
There's one on the other end that's on the hook, right?
Yep.
You have. So I cut those off. I mean, he's watching me do it, right?
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm not going to say, well, hey man, are you sure those knots are good? I'm going to tie them so that I know they're good.
Sure.
Tied the knots on. Rigged the ballyhoo, the second ballyhoo, the only other ballyhoo that we had left. Rigged it, right? And sent it back there, and it wasn't back there for more than about 15 minutes, and that striped marlin came up and hammered it, and that was the second fish on the ballyhoo. And then from that point, I realized, we need more ballyhoo. We got to go get them, right?
Here's the problem with all of this. This is my takeaway, right? So, first trip down to Cabo.
Yeah.
I book a charter. I get this boat and this first mate, and this is his presentation. This is him and his captain's presentation. This is how they rig their bait. This is how they tie their knots. We get a great takedown. It hooks for a second, fin out of the water, fish is gone. Come back in, hook's gone. It's like, oh, wow, man, that must have...
Broke the line.
Broke the line,
whatever.
you know what I mean, for the layperson.
Right.
Somebody that doesn't have the engineer brain approach to everything, doesn't pick up on the finite details.
Right.
They figure, well, look, I know where I'm at, right?
Yeah.
So I have to kind of lend it to, hey, it's what they do. Right? And I paid for this, and we're just going to try to make the best of it. And people are going to lose fish, and stuff's going to happen.
Yep.
And I would venture to guess the big takeaway for the majority of folks is, yeah, we hooked a couple. Gosh, man, those fish are strong. Broke the leader, or,
right?
Or we ran out of bait.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. But now, I mean, hopefully, if you're watching this and you're listening to this, you're going to have a little bit different.
Yeah. You're able to turn around and make a successful day out of it, right? Right. That's the big difference there. You close the gap. So
so we got this striped marlin on, and he's greyhound, and he's flipping all over the place, right? Way behind the boat, he's dumping the line off the reel. And just awesome fights to these fish, and we don't keep marlin. Mm-hmm. The last marlin that I kept for myself was probably back in 2013, long time ago.
Yeah.
So striped marlin are good eating, right? Contrary to unpopular belief, I'll say. And so the guys that were with me, they wanted to kill this thing, right? They wanted to eat it. And I'm like, hey, that's not, we're going to take 1. We won't take 5. Mm-hmm. We haven't done it in a while. I said, not a problem. Mm-hmm. So I look at the mate and I go, hey, you leader, me gaff. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to argue with me because he's not going to turn to this
like
280-pound vanilla gorilla and say, hey, sorry, but I don't agree with you, and I'm going to lead her, and I'm going to gaff this thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I got to, you know, he was a nice guy, but I mean, nice doesn't cut it when you have a performance level and expectation there. So bring the fish to leader. He leaders it. I stick the gaff in it. And game over for that marlin. Yeah. And so we got the meat. We had it done at Griselda's, which is a great smokehouse vac pack place there in Cabo that does your processing for you.
Brought it home, packaged and smoked?
You get not smoked, but it is a smokehouse.
Oh, gotcha.
It is a smokehouse.
Okay.
You can't have it smoked, but we got it vacuum packed and frozen. And then you fly home with this frozen product that's ready for your freezer. Yeah. It's great. And then we walked around Cabo looking for ballyhoo. And would you believe it that nobody sells trade ballyhoo? It's like going to Sitka, Alaska, and you can't walk into a fishing tackle shop and buy a case of herring or a tray of herring.
How come?
And they only bring it in during the tournaments.
Oh.
And so then it's like, okay, we're never coming back here without bringing our own bait, right?
Oh, wow.
And so that started off a whole nother, I could go like another 30 minutes into the whole.
So the takeaway here, Tommy, is if you're trying to sell me a trip to Cabo, I'm kind of like, yeah?
Yeah, well, you know, you got to know the boat that you're going with, right? Sure. I think is the lesson learned. Now this, I will say the captain that we went with, he's a good captain.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, the mate that we had last year, he moved on to a different job, and we didn't have that mate. I think if we had that mate, it probably would have been a little bit different story.
Sure, yeah.
We got a guy that was really green, and his knowledge was not where it should have been. But I'll tell you, if I go out there and we can hook, you know, a sailfish and a striped marlin with 2 ballyhoo rigged properly, then
think about the potential.
Think about if you would have had, I don't know, you know, a dozen ballyhoo.
Think about the potential.
That's how lucrative that fishery is down there.
Did you book that trip as part of your overall package deal? Did you book that trip when you get down there?
So I reserved charters before we went down there.
Okay.
They was not attached to the hotel, the resort, or anything like that.
Separate.
Yep. It's completely separate. Yeah.
I would. You kind of compel me to go down there and go through a short interviewing process a couple days before.
Well, you know, you do, right? Because some of the boats, like say you're going with a Panga, right? You really want to know, like, hey, are these guys running with Penn Senators from the 1980s? Or do they have some, you know, some nicer gear, right? Some newer Penns or some newer Shimanos or whatever that they bought, you know, maybe 3 years ago and they're keeping them serviced.
Do you consider their safety plan as well?
Absolutely. You got to ask if they have life jackets. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much the extent of it. You know?
Life jacket,
like if they got life jackets,
right.
You know, that's a good day. I think EPIRB and life raft, that's not a consideration.
Well,
and
no, that would be a fishing boat.
Right. And I think that's part of the reason though why they don't run offshore, right?
Sure, yeah.
They know they don't have the proper safety equipment, and going out there with only one other boat in the zone or 2 other boats in the zone, they know that's not a good idea.
I only asked you that because that is high on your priority list for your boat. We've gone over this. We've talked about it in studio. We've showed it. You know, when we're out there heading out in the ocean, going for offshore for halibut or going out there for tuna, whatever. And we talk about that. So you go into another country and going to go out in the ocean.